now nobody belongs to me. Listen, I'm on a mission. I never been the one to fit in. I do it different. I find a spaceship and I get in. I got ignition. I got that 2020 vision. One in a million. That's what. Listen, I'm on a mission. I never been the one to fit in. I do it different. I find a spaceship and I get in. I got ignition. I got that 2020 vision. One in a million. That's why I'm winning. Millions of these humans, spinning on a ball of confusion. Some kids I went to school with gave up on their dreams, they said screw it. I said, oh, I'ma make some music. Even if they tell me it won't do shit, I do it. Damn, I fucking do it. Blowing up quick, I said boom, bitch. I could give a few tips, gotta get the roots before you get the fruit. Then they know the suits, they don't got a clue. You just gotta move, bitch, that's the truth. I'm the living proof, you can have it too. Listen, I'm on a mission, I never been the one to fit in. I do it different, I find a spaceship and I get in. I got a vision, I got that 2020 vision. One in a million, that's what. Listen, I'm on a mission, I never been the one to fit in. I do it different, I find a spaceship and I get in. I got a vision, I got that 2020 vision. One in a million, that's why I'm winning. Travel across the stars on a beam of light. As I venture forward, keep my circle tight. You know I'm a vibe, I'm not polite. You're not leveled up, I ain't got the time. Meditate on edibles and try to eat your vegetables. Eventually you realize reality is edible. It's only hypothetical, but really it's pathetical. If you don't get a tarot deck, you never get the pedicle. A few tips, gotta get the roots before you get the fruit. Then ignore the suits, they don't got a clue. You just gotta move, bitch, and that's the truth. I'm the living proof, you can have it too. I like that. Let's go. Listen, I'm on a mission. I never been a one to fit in. I do it different. I find a spaceship and I get in. I got that vision. I got that 2020 vision. One in a million. Let's go. Keep it going. Listen, I'm on a mission. Good morning. Good morning. My headphones are acting up, so hopefully y'all were able to hear the music okay, and you can hear me okay. It is what it is. I don't know what's going on. Anywho, this is not going to be very long. Probably about 15, 20 minutes, if that. If that. So, yeah, the topic is energy vampires and how we don't want to allow ourselves to become drained by energy vampires and how we don't want to allow ourselves to become energy vampires. And obviously, we're not talking about actual vampires, obviously. But some people will drain you of your energy if you allow it. And that's a fact. Some with completely no regard towards you, and some will drain you without even trying to. Like, not purposely, but that's just their being. Like, that's just them and what they got going on, and it can be draining. So you can't allow that. It's not healthy or productive. And truth be told, you're not good to, for nobody, let alone yourself, if your cup is empty. Especially if you don't allow somebody to drain your cup. How you helping anybody or yourself if you ain't got nothing to give? How that work? It doesn't. It does not. And eventually, the other shoe gonna drop because person can only deal with so much. I freezing. It's windy. But whatever. Anywho, it says energy vampires are people who drain your emotional energy, leaving you feeling exhausted and depleted. Like you ain't got nothing left. Like you feel like I need to take a nap or something. I need a V8. They can be found in any relationship, personal or professional, and may exhibit behaviors like excessive negativity, a need for drama, or a tendency to play the victim. You can manage interactions by setting boundaries, saying no, avoiding arguments, and limiting contact. But ultimately, protecting your energy may require you, well, no, excuse me, may require distancing yourself from the person. Sometimes you need to, but sometimes that's not an option. So you got to know how to conduct yourself and maneuver around when distancing yourself from that person. It's not an option. All right. Signs of an energy vampire. What are the signs? Chronic negativity. Nobody likes a Debbie Downer or a Daniel Downer. Nobody. Especially, like I always say, when you have your own plight in life and your own things that you may or may not be trying to rise above. Yeah. Chronic negativity. They frequently complain and find fault with others and situations. My dad always says you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Choose one. Choose one. Okay. Another sign is that they're drama focused. They are often at the center of a crisis or workplace gossip and thrive on the drama they create. So not only are they the common denominator, they get off on that, on being that. It's not like, oh, they seem to be the common denominator and they don't like that. So they're trying to figure out a way to change what they need to change so that they are no longer the common denominator. They get off on that. Okay. And good morning to everybody. Good morning to the cloud dwellers. I hope everybody's having a great day. You're getting your week started off on a good note, on a good foot. Who is wind? Victim mentality. Victim mentality. ACP3, good morning. They blame others for their problems and may deflect accountability, leaving you feeling guilty or responsible for them. That's really draining. And it's some real ish. And like I talked about in the other vibe I did, when you have people in your life Even though that may not go hand in hand with the victim mentality, but it says they blame others for their problems and may deflect accountability, leaving you feeling guilty or responsible for them. So if somebody's trying to tell you something good for you, don't take offense. Take heed. I'm telling you, that is one of the phrases for this season of straightening that we are in. Don't take offense. Take heed. Okay? But we're all grown. So we can't be out here blaming other people for our problems. And even if certain situations weren't our fault and we had no control over that, what's next? Now what? And then what? What you gonna do? Because obviously, whoever and whatever that's the root of having you feel how you feel, they're not coming up with no solutions. So what you dwelling on them for? Or it for? Passing blame to people or on things that's not gonna get you nowhere. Use that as fire under your butt to do what you can do and what you gotta do for you and yours. Okay? Self-centered. They often act like a martyr. They focus on how their life is harder than yours or make everything about their own achievements and struggles. That can be annoying and draining. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm normally off on Sundays, right? But I had to work yesterday. Whatever, whoop-de-doo. So one of the people were like, "Oh, what you doing here?" Mind you, me and this person were having a conversation. One of my coworkers were in earshot of the conversation, but you weren't the conversation. You didn't have nothing to do with you. You weren't involved in the conversation. But okay. So they say to me, "Oh, what are you doing here?" Whoop de doo. Now this same coworker, they're normally off on Sundays too, but their schedule got switched against their liking. So now they're on the schedule to work that day. I had to work that day because I had to work that day. That's not on my schedule, right? So she a little sour about that anyway. But whatever. So yeah, the person said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" Blah blah blah. So we're having a conversation, and then my coworker just comes out the woodwork like, "Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got work too. I ain't supposed to be here either." And I'm just like, "Girl, didn't nobody ask you anything?" I ain't gonna stunt. She was already getting on my nerves because from the moment I had got there, like I said, just trying to drain me all my energy because she was in a moody mood and probably didn't want to be there, do whatever. But instead of just putting a big girl draws on and just letting it be whatever it's going to be, she want to be negative Nancy. So, quick example with that. Manipulative. They use guilt, intimidation, or passive aggression to get their way and may undermine others' achievements. Hmm. I'm gonna read that again. They use guilt, intimidation, or passive aggression to get their way and may undermine others' achievements. Hmm. So, like, say if you're busy, like you have things to do, right? But somebody just really wants to talk to you. They just really want some of your time, but you are really busy. They may try to make you feel bad, you know what I mean? Or guilty. Like, you never have time for me. Or, whoop-de doo, whatever. Without taking no, without understanding at all. Like, no, I have things to do. So I don't have time to be sitting here chopping it up with you, whatever the case may be. You know, if you're the type of person who doesn't celebrate holidays, right? Because not everybody celebrates holidays. You may have somebody who don't respect or understand that. So then they want to push their stuff on you and make you feel bad because you don't celebrate holidays, you know? Emotionally draining. You constantly feel anxious, agitated, or exhausted after spending time with them. Whether you're spending, time with them in person, whether you're talking to them on the phone. When it comes to the YouTubes, maybe after you get done interacting with somebody, it may leave you feeling drained, like, what the fudge? Whatever. So those are just some of the quote unquote signs, but there's really no science to it. You know how you feel after interacting with somebody. You know if it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So let's see. I'll go over the ways of how to protect yourself real quick, and then I'm getting out of here. Appreciate you stopping by real quick, CP3. Thanks to whoever may be listening, and hopefully you'll get something out of this. I probably should have waited to do a longer one, but whatever. All right, it says how to protect yourself. Set boundaries. Decide how much of your energy you are willing to give and stick to it. Okay. Learn to say no. Some people have a problem saying no. It is important to refuse requests that will drain you, even if it feels difficult. Limit contact. Spend less time with them by not agreeing to social events or long interactions. Sure. I love this one. Stay neutral. Avoid getting pulled into arguments as they can fuel their behavior. Staying calm and not reacting can be more effective. Okay? Distance yourself. If the behavior is consistent and harmful, consider reducing or cutting off contact, especially if they are unwilling to change. So if you communicate it clearly to someone that their behavior or actions is too much on you, and they don't take heed and do something about it, you may have to do what you got to do. All right, this is the last one. Focus on solutions instead of getting bogged down into their problems or in their problems, or like instead of like just hyper focusing or getting too involved in their problems, try to shift the conversation towards solution. So if this is somebody that you care for or you're cool with, but they just exhibit behaviors of being an energy vampire, when they start to, hey Miss Marie, how are you, girl? You're gonna have to catch the replay, baby. I hope you're having a great morning. When they start to exhibit those behaviors, or if you're having a conversation with them and they're starting to be, negative or whatever, try to pivot it if you can. Redirect. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean it's gonna work, but it can't hurt to try. Okay, girl, have a great day. Thank you for coming. So yeah, that was it. Short and sweet. Hopefully you all got something out of it. Anywho, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Bye.